We are starting off May on brand for North Texas. We are starting off with a chance of severe storms a couple of times this week, and it really does look like it's just going to be a casual May for our area, and hopefully we'll get some rain out of this as well. I know that we had a good shot of rain, but we need to get all the rain we can before we dry up in the summer. If we take a look at radar this evening, not a whole lot going on. There's this little bit of a boundary here that's moving up to the north, but other than that, not much of that, not much happening. Certainly not what's happening in West Texas here. And this will be kind of what we're watching later tonight. You see there's a couple of tornado warnings out there, but a fair amount of severe weather in our in western portions of Texas, from just south of Amarillo all the way down to Fort Stockton there. So just a broken line of supercell thunderstorms in that area, but not a whole lot going on back home. But we're going to be watching those storms. Let's run through a few models here because I want to show you kind of what is expected to happen. You'll see these storms as they move off to the east, and then they just kind of fall apart. And if you notice, it kind of falls apart in the center here. We have more activity up in Oklahoma, more activity down in the San Antonio area, and then towards our area, it kind of just falls apart. But then you notice to the west, there's a little bit more development there. So let's take a look at another model here. We're going to kind of zoom out generally. This is the NAM model. Now this is a little bit behind the times as far as obviously what is showing here. All of this activity didn't actually materialize, but if we get to about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tonight, we'll see kind of where things stand. And again, you see these storms off to the west here. The NAM model was a little bit ambitious as far as where these storms were going to be. I don't think they're going to quite be this close by 8 o'clock. But as it goes on, the NAM also says that these storms are pretty well going to fall apart. And then as we get through 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're looking at a few showers developing across our area. And as we continue this, what we're going to be watching for, again, you saw, let's actually take that back a frame or two. As we get into 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, you see a few thunderstorms developing. The thing is, the storm possibilities for tomorrow, Monday, are largely going to be dependent on what happens tonight. If we end up getting those storms from our western portions of the state that move into our area tonight, we may actually not see much tomorrow. But if the high resolution and the NAM models are correct, and there's just nothing that comes through tonight, that may leave sufficient instability for more storms tomorrow. Tomorrow's forecast is kind of in flux at the moment. So as we take it forward, what you're going to start to notice off to the north here, up in the Oklahoma City area, moving southward, is this very intense squall line. So this is, again, this is not precise. This is not saying it's going to be shaped and placed exactly like this. This is thinking this is kind of generally what it's going to look like. But as we get through the morning, if you notice, it starts to fall apart. This is early Tuesday morning. And then as we get into 5 a.m., 6 a.m., the whole complex moving into our area, but weakening very quickly. This is what the NAM model is thinking is going to happen. And as we go ahead, again, it thinks that we may get another line here. This is probably the cold front moving through and then continuing through. So we get into the mid-afternoon and into the late afternoon hours. It's saying there could be some showers of thunderstorms that develop along the cold front there but not a whole lot, in terms of what's expected. And then if you notice this activity, it's the cold front moves to the south, and then all of a sudden you see everything pushing back to the north. That's going to be kind of what we saw today, right? We had a cold front that came in yesterday. Then today it lifted as a warm front, putting us in the warm sector with that possibility of severe weather. So we're going to have a lot of ping-ponging fronts here, a lot of back and forth over the next few days. So let's get over to just a couple of graphics I want to show you. First things first, the Storm Prediction Center, of course, gives us our risks for severe weather. For our area tomorrow, well, on Tuesday rather, I should have, let's see if I can get Mondays up here. I didn't actually, I thought I had that prepared and I got my order all out of whack. Let's see if I can get that pulled up for tomorrow. Here we go. Okay. All right. So that is the risks for tomorrow. We're in a marginal risk for tomorrow. Now, again, what happens tonight will largely determine what happens for tomorrow. Right now, it's pretty well expecting to stay up in North Oklahoma, Central and North Oklahoma, over to parts of Kansas and Missouri, and a little bit of Arkansas there as well. Parts of far northwestern portions of North Texas in the slight risk, most of us in the marginal risk. But again, that may change if we continue to go forward over the next several hours, and we do end up having the potential for severe weather increase with the lack of activity tonight. Tuesday, we're looking at not really a risk for severe weather in our area right now. Again, that could possibly change a little bit, but as that front is expected to move through our area, it's pretty well, the forecasts are expecting it to weaken quite a bit, but they are expecting activity to be more intense as you get from Arkansas at a marginal risk up into Tennessee, Kentucky, over to the southern portions of Indiana there. So, that's kind of what we're looking at there. Wednesday, now we're starting to get further and further away, right? And the forecast becomes less and less reliable. This is the thinking right now for Wednesday, that we are in the equivalent of a slight risk for Wednesday, but again, that could change, and then the same thing for Thursday. So let's actually get into the forecast here and see what we think is going to happen. This is the forecast, and again, you see a lot happening, so let's just get through this together. Monday, we're looking at about a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon as that cold front is going to come through, and again, we could really kind of talk about this as a 50-50 shot, because tonight it's looking like we won't have much activity, so that could bring more storms for Monday night. Not everybody's going to get rain, but we're going to have to kind of watch. So stay tuned over the next 24 hours as we get more details. I would say over the next 18 hours as we get more details on what to expect for Monday, because, hey, we could be looking at a severe weather situation, but time will tell. We're going to have to kind of wait and see what some of the other factors do. Tuesday, 20% chance of rain in the morning. I really should probably take the thunderstorms off of that, but I wanted to just keep the thunderstorm graphic there just in case some of this activity on Tuesday is more intense. Really, you could say that we could see some showers and thunderstorms Tuesday afternoon with the front coming through, but I really do think that we're probably looking at our best chance for anything at all in the morning as the remnants of that line from the north come in, but I don't expect it to really do much. But again, that could change, so stay tuned. Wednesday, 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. And what you see is we have a cold front coming in Tuesday morning. That lifts as a warm front Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday night into Thursday, another cold front coming in. And you'll see this in the temperatures too. We're in the mid 80s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then Thursday noticeably cooler behind that cold front. But Wednesday and Thursday, we're looking at another kind of evening into the next morning event. So that's where we have that slight risk of severe weather at this time, again, that's a few days away, so we're going to watch that forecast, right? So expect mid to late afternoon Wednesday, things start coming together for a severe thunderstorm event possibly coming together for Wednesday afternoon, evening, going into Thursday morning. It's windy all through this period. Hey, I'm sorry. I wish I could do more for you. But, after we get through all of this, we're going to be in the low 80s for Thursday. And that's going to be relatively cool for early May. Look at these overnight lows. We're in the 60s, mid to upper 60s, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we're right around 60. But look at this. We warm up very quickly. Friday, things dry out. We're in the mid 80s with windy conditions. Unfortunately, the humidity is going to be going up too, but it should be breezy most of the weekend. Saturday, upper 80s. And then Sunday, we're cracking 90. Looks like we'll have our first 90-degree days, forecasted 90-degree day at least for May. And that's going to be a little bit of a taste, right, of the coming summer as we get into this. So the moral of the story on the forecast is just to stay tuned. And I'm going to be bringing all the latest updates and kind of the outlooks and what to expect and that sort of thing. Tomorrow, I'll be watching very closely to kind of see what the expectation is. And then, of course, as we get into Wednesday and Thursday as well. Weather confirmation sources. This is where you want to get your information as far as your warnings and those kinds of alerts. So make sure you're paying attention to these different sources. I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you live in a rural area where you're not going to hear sirens, you're not going to get very good phone service, you're not going to get internet service, those kinds of things, make sure you have a weather radio. If you're depending on power to power a TV or a phone signal sometimes when you have those, those cell boosters from your carrier, those kind of things, if you're depending on power for your signal, you may not be able to depend on those things, but those NOAA weather radios have power backup. So that means that you can actually go into a power outage situation and no service and that kind of thing. You're still going to get that radio signal. That's a great option for you. It's a great option for any household, but especially in those rural areas where you may not get very good service. Weather apps with geo-targeting. So there are apps out there, professional apps that will send a alert, a push notification to your phone when a warning is issued. Local TV meteorologists, AM, FM radio stations. I would also throw in there Ellis County weather as well. Of course, I'll be bringing you all the warnings that are issued for our area. I'm going to skip one and say the wireless emergency alerts are great too. I'm going to put the link to those in the description here or in the post somewhere so that you have the link to go sign up through the Ellis County Emergency Management Department, the Office of Emergency Management rather. They do a great job of presenting those tools to you. Now, we talk about outdoor warning sirens, and of course, this is meant as an alert for people that are outdoors, not intended to wake you up. Why they are sounded varies by jurisdiction. Check with local community leaders. I've talked about that before. Moral of the story, if you're outside, listen for sirens. If you're not, don't worry about it. Sirens are not meant for you. So I hope you will go to elliscountyweather.com for all your latest forecast information. Make sure you're following on Facebook and YouTube as well for the latest updates there. In fact, follow Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, whichever you prefer. I'm all over the place. So we're going to have updates there, of course, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter for live coverage of severe weather as it happens. Stay tuned. I'm going to have more updates on these storms coming up this week as time goes on, and just know that the forecast is subject to change, but this is kind of where we're at right now. Stay tuned.